Hello, everyone. This is Teacher Hernan, and today we have a new talk. Orlando Giraldo from Canada. He comes to talk about his movie. So, Orlando, how are you today?
Hey, Hernan, how are you? How's it going? Thank you for having me today. I'm very good. I'm very happy for this interview today.
No, thanks in advance for your time, Orlando. We just want to know who Orlando is. That's like the first question. Who, if someone asked you, who is Orlando Giraldo, what would you say?
Orlando is a Colombian-born filmmaker, Canadian citizen. I am a Colombian Canadian. I've been here for almost 20 years in Canada, and since I was a kid, I was always interested in films. But there was something. It was just like, we'll grab a camera, there was something about that. And I always have this connection with film. I will see walking by pictures of. Movie, a guy with a movie. There's the movie called The Voyagers in Spanish, or The Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock. And I will see the picture of James Stewart holding the camera, and that will cause me curiosity to who is this guy with this camera? James Stewart. In Espanol it's called El Boyerista. In English it's called Rear Window. I like Hitchcock, and I will see his picture, and I will like, oh, there's something about that picture that cuts my attention. And it was always like that. I was interested always in films, Batman or Rambo or Rocky, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, a lot of Steven Spielberg films. But there was always this always holding the camera. I was always this organic sensation. And then here I just have the opportunity to do that. And thank God I can express it. I work with a number of people, and now I just express myself fully through the language of cinema.
Orlando, what's up with the change? Because I know your profession, like your degree, is in sports sciences and recreation. How was the change? Why did you go through the acting field?
It, as I said, was so basically what happened when I was a kid. We not blaming my upbringing with my parents or anything. They just didn't work or whatever was happening. So I have a very stressful life when I was a kid. I mean, to me, and I have to have low responsibility. So I started doing exercise, trying a way to release and feel better mentally and helping, and that leads to become a better athlete, better sportsman. So I did sports sciences, and I fell in love with it. I was not even thinking going to the university at that time. So I just applied, and I would go into the program. I did the program. I love what I did. I love always like medicine. I wanted to be a doctor, so it worked for me. And then I have a life, and I have my then partner, my daughter. There was also always, even when I live in the States, in Colorado, I live in the States for a few months, working. But there was always going to the library, and I didn't know, I wouldn't even understand the English, but I was like film, the Doors, the poems, Jim Morrison, trying to read all these books that always caught my attention. There was something about film I wanted to write. I was in a bus traveling from I remember going to Colorado to see my mom in Miami. So all the Colorado, I was in a place called Steamboat Springs, and I have a friend. So we drove the bus, the Greyhound in the States, and the bus went, and I write all these things, and I have all this interest in film. But when I get here, I have to have a life. I have my partner, my daughter, so I have to provide with the family, and I have to do what I did, my degree, which I love, and I try to practice that. I preach. But there was, with the pandemic, actually 5 years ago, somebody asked me to. I want somebody named Wayne Shackwith, a friend of mine who is a scriptwriter. He basically asked me, I want to do a scene in the gym. I used to look like a gym attendant or something. So everybody who comes to the gym, I say, hello, how are you? Welcome to the gym. And so this guy was a member of the gym, and I was just doing that as a recreation person in the gym. And he asked me, oh, I want to do a scene right here. It's like, okay, if you have something for me, because he liked it's an old gym, so he liked that stuff a lot. And what happened? So it didn't happen. And then because of logistic reasons and whatever, so he wrote something else, and he offered me a part of to be like a sort of a Hispanic general, like a 1980s sort of look. If you look at the movies in the 1980s, General Ramirez, chickens running around, and the movies they portray the Colombians and the South Americans. the general has this house and like a farm. So I wanted to get with mustache and tons of things in here, and so Fidel Castro base, or general drug dealer and also things. So he has this character. I never like it. I never like to portray that, because it's something that we, in our country, we have all this in Colombia. I come from Colombia. We have all this violence and all this stigmatization of being a Colombian in the South America. So I didn't want to do it, but I saw an opportunity. So, and then I met my friend John Cunnis. He was a part of the scene too, and I was the General Ramirez. The scene didn't work, but my friendship with John, we're still friends, John Cunnis, he sort of started, oh, Orlando, you should take classes, because I didn't know how to act. I have no idea. I like films and whatever. You should go to this acting class with Walter Alza. Hello, Walter Alza. So I'm going to send you this tape so you can see it and promote it. And I took classes with he's a very famous acting coach in Toronto. So we took the classes with Walter. He did some shots in here from Argentina. And then I enrolled into the class, and that's where the process started shifting. I still work in the gym. I still working in my personal training, taking acting classes in the weekend and whatever. And it was just for fun. I started watching films. Started watching Akira Kurosawa, Stanley Kubrick, Jean-Luc Godard, Michael Gone, Orson Welles, all these directors, all these famous directors, and started watching all the films to absorb whatever it was. And then I met Dmitry Dolgov in the school. He wasn't taking the acting class in Walter's class, and what happened was he was like, I'm gonna make a little bit of his accent as I can. So like, I want to make a movie. Let's do it, So the problem was he was not a very good actor. I was like, this guy doesn't know how to act. That's funny. And then I did the class, and I didn't pass too because my accent. How about this thick accent? Probably not as much anymore when I don't think about it. But then we became friends and started doing this web series called Chainsaw, which is 5 episodes. We produced it, so I learned a lot by doing that. That was the character, didn't know how to direct. So I sort of learned a little bit from Dimitri. And then we did a movie. So we progressed from that script. We developed a script and the web series, which was basically his. We wrote something called The Green Triangle, which is a movie that it's in 2018. So we developed that for a number of years. And I said, Dimitri, we have to stop doing this web series and do the film and do the Green Triangle. So we have to make it happen. So we scale it up, we work with somebody else, and then we produced that film. So we got into a festival, with such a film festival in 2019. And so when we were doing the film, I said to him, like, why don't we do something else with Chainsaw, which is this character that we created. I never liked the character. And somebody had an interesting idea. I wanted to do it because they are his characters. He says, you can't use my characters, they belong to me. And that's when I realized that I have to write my own stuff. And then that's the birth of Clash. And when the pandemic happened, I just shift everything to film. And I work with some other, so I started doing background acting, or a background performer. And I met a few people who are my friends, Gregory Elliott, Andres Galindo, so many people that in the industry were doing all this background. I started doing things, and I work with them, and I just start moving and working and other things. And the gym work started decreasing. I started doing more film stuff.
Okay, Orlando, so where does the idea of Clash come from?
As I said, continuing with the story. So basically, Clash came, like I was saying, we have this agreement with Dimitri, and I never liked the way he was handling some things. I mean, we just thought different. He has a vision, and I was a step in boundaries, and I shouldn't feel that I should do that as a director. I'd step up, and I didn't respect his directing thing, so there was conflict. So, and when he said, you cannot use my characters of Chainsaw, I started writing the idea of Clash. The idea comes from, so what should I write? What should I do? So I met a couple of people that we work, Andrew Weston from the film The Green Triangle. And I met this young man in background. His name is David Mortimer, who was a stone guy, very young, he knows his thing. And I came with the idea, what if the master and the student have this fight, right? A conflict, so what the conflict would be. And I was looking at this real demo of this young actress she was doing all this training, her stunt performing, and all the stunt performers. If you watch Cobra Kai, they do all this stunt with acrobatic stuff and turning around and jumping. And I look at that clip, and it didn't connect with me. Like I watched the clip and I was like, this is still fake. Everybody does the same package of action thing, like hit, jump, turn, flip, fall to the ground. It's very acrobatic, but it didn't feel real to me. And all the movies were typical with the guy, with the lead actor or the bad guy holding the actress or the girl, and the lead actor had to rescue her. I'm gonna kill her now. There was always that sort of, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do something that is not common. So, and I just started signing the fights. Like, what if we take the guns away? And we go the basic principles of action film. Just action with your hands, knives, but no guns, because the guns are overly used in films. So we put the guns away, and they start designing the film. So, and then I start having some actors that can you do something for me? Can you include me in the scene? And in 2 pages become 4. I have an actor who play with cars, and then I create a scene to justify the cars. I create another scene, and then I was looking for a warehouse, and I found a priest who was my friend, Reverend Maurice Francois. And we're friends. He's an Anglican priest, and we got the location of the church. I rented the church. We had a card game in the church, and then we have another location. The other person who helped us with another location was David Hamilton, and then we use his office. The Oscar winner, the Oscar nominee, Deepa Mehta, which they were my clients. She was nominated for the film Water in 1995, I believe. But they were my clients. They were friends, and then had the other location. And then I watched the film, we did the film, didn't feel there was something that didn't feel right about the film. So there was all these files that we designed it and all that thing, but there was something missing. So I wrote another part called Flashback to balance the film. And then I got another location, we got a drone, and we got another house. Stefano Cernari, who is the drone operator in the film, provided us with the location and a number of people. We have more things in the second part of the film, when we filmed Flashback, and that was great. To say is just each fight have different performances. Like, what if we do different fights? The woman, Angela Kotesky, fighting David Mortimer. So she's gonna be the winner of that one. Big body, bigger, like that was based on the Matrix, Trinity, the movie Matrix. All her fighting stuff. Cyborg, another movie, 1989. Used as a framework to design that fight. I work with David and Angela, who is like a stunt performer, and she's great in what she does. And so we work with that. And then we have the other fight, which is the Oz fight, which is this humongous guy. He's like 6'3". And so David versus Goliath, the bigger guy versus the small guy. So how these different body types come in. So basically we use, as a framework work, we use the movie Golden Knight by James Bond. So with Oddjob fights with James Bond. So, but we find different ways to work in that fight, and then we couldn't work anymore, unfortunately, with Andrew Weston. So we have to replace him, unfortunately, because he was going to Mexico. And then we have our friend Francesco De Francesco, who is the lead actor, and asking. I was looking for somebody which expertise on stunt performing, but when I was auditioning the actors, they were great stunt performers, but they were not great actors. So I asked Frank, who I met years before working in Hitman Hobbies, and asked him, Frank, can you recommend somebody to do over film? We're looking for a stunt performer that acts. And he said, why not me? And I thought, and I was like, well, what are you gonna do the stunts? Right, that's my first question. And I thought about it for a few days, and you know what? He offered that quality of acting, and he trained. He did all the stunts as when the public look at the film, like he prepared trained him physically for so he was not fit enough to do the stuff. So between David Mortimer and I, we trained him fitness wise, and David did the stunts and the choreography with him, and he delivered a great performance and also good acting. And then we designed the other fights, whatever conditions we have. We have somebody who unfortunately was not able to be part of the film, so we have to change the fights last minute, and make it happen in another way. So David designed that in the last minute. That was Avion Harrison step in because of one of the actors was gone, so he couldn't do it anymore. And we have the other actor, Mark Atsede, so to step in last minute and design 2 amazing quick fights that you can watch in the film class.
So basically what you wanted to do is change a paradigm or break the paradigms. Is that what was that your first idea, like your initial objective or aim?
Hernan, you're absolutely right. So I think you put it in a very good way. We have to break the paradigm shifting, right? Like all this, everybody has a product. It's like Disney has products. So the paradigm, like all the guns, all the movies fighting with the guns. Nobody knows what to hold a gun. That's why. And this was actually before John Wick. So John Wick started changing the way fighting is work, but my idea Clash was not inspired at all by John Wick. So I have the idea of making this real, so people can relate to the fight. So you have a little bit, have an arc as a theme. So, but you are right. Definitely, we're shifting paradigms, and I love what you said. That thank you. Yeah, that was great. That's a good way to define it.
Okay, Orlando. And how do you think the audience will receive the film?
When we did Clash, our film, we did it with a lot of love, and I have a lot of influences. So Clash will have all these stunt performance, and there's a lot of, if you're a film lover, there's a lot of flavors of Rossellini, of Andrei Tarkovsky. There's a lot of influence in Quentin Tarantino. There's a lot of a combination of my film influences, film noir. There's a number of things in the film that if you're a film lover and you consider reference in the films, you probably, so it's cinematic, and also there's an action pack, it's entertaining as well. So you're probably gonna have those things.
Okay, and let's think about the people that they're not really into cinema. They're not film lovers. How will they receive it? Do you think like the technique used will get them engaged?
The film is designed to be entertained. So if you watch, the film is just, you have a piece of popcorn, you have 18 minutes and 40 seconds of good speed. Is not thinking about any deep thoughts about life. It's just a simple story that will engage you if you just watch it, and you can just watch it again and enjoy it. It's just an action film with a little bit of thought into it, not making it complex or obvious. So anybody who watches the film, I think they will enjoy it. Like you're not somebody, if you are a professional who does guns and weapons and things like that, and you're gonna have the gun certain way, probably is gonna be more difficult. Depends. But the general public, I think they will enjoy the film. It's just a film for entertainment, for you to enjoy. So please enjoy Clash. It's for you to enjoy.
Orlando, have you received any rewards in behalf of Clash?
Clash has gone 2 awards. One in December, the International Independent Film Awards, and just got one today in the Beyond the Curve Film Festival in France. We got we're the winners of the category Best Thriller in the Beyond the Curve French Festival, and we got selected in a few other things in Venice, and we have films start getting some recognition.
Okay, are you expecting to get any other awards or just these 2?
Well, I just think we have to go. The film is recognized as a semi-finalist in another category in Canadian Film Awards Independent in June. And we were selected in Venice, in a short film festival in Venice, California. I go with the flow. The film is festive. The fact that the film is just recognized, being recognized, is just makes me feel happy for my crew and my cast, who I owe them for this. I've always been thankful for them. I go with the day. I mean, hopefully somebody else like our film and decide to give us an award, and I'll be happy to. Even if we're selected, if the film gets out there, that's what it matters to me. And I'll do this for my cast and crew.
Okay, perfect. That's lovely. Congrats for that, though. There are many paradigms to shift, as we were saying before. Why did you decide for an action one?
uh, all the decisions that I do in terms of film, I try to follow my heart and intuition. I do it organically. So everybody's like, an action film is so difficult to do, but why so difficult? I just felt like this is what it was. It was just what I wanted to do. I saw the two actors and let's do it. Just write. I just wanted to write 2 pages, and it just grew up. It just happens. Just you spark and then grew up as what it is today. It was just I just wanted to do a couple of scenes, maybe one fight. That's it. But the film just grew in a way that it was very organic. So all the fights came as very organically. I don't know if that responds to your question.
Orlando, how was your relationship, or how was the challenge with each actor? I believe being each actor a different individual, obviously, I believe you as a director had different challenges. Can you tell us a bit about that, these small bits and pieces that made the film different?
Thank you for the question, Hernan. So I'm going to talk about the lead actors. The relationship, as I said in another interview recently, we have different kinds of actors. So every actor has an approach, and when you're learning how to direct, you understand that. But there's the method actor who is like getting immersed into the character, and they live it. They live it 24 hours, which is the case of Celeste Cortemache, which plays the role of Anne Turner. She was very internalized this character. She has this conflict. She was embodying Anne's personality. So you can see in the film that she shows that in her film. So she's like a method actor. Like she gets into the role and is touched with the emotions. Frank DiFrancesco is a more technique actor. He is trained actor. He did the Second City for many years. He has awards. So with a technical actor like Frank, you can ask him, Frank, can you do more? Can you raise your voice certain way or certain way? Can you do this line this way? So he's more technical. He is visceral when you work with Frank DiFrancesco, who plays Scott Durden. He calls himself the lovable character Scott Durden, which is the league of the gang. So that's what he called himself in the film. But Frank is an actor that when an actor, for example, like Frank DiFrancesco, you tell him, I want 30% more crying, so he can just do that. Or I want this line this way. Or the motivation of the character is this. And he will understand that because he has the training. So that was a different with him. With David Mortimer, it was a more intense relationship because he was a producer too. So we have to go and design the fight. So we sometimes we get into these arguments about why the fight should be like this, but it's normal in the creative process. He did a great job. So we have a point. So the acting with him, we have to. He's a good actor. He's a stunt performer, right? So we have to design the character in a way that he has certain mannerisms and ways. So I have to use an approach of he, for example, will say, I'm sure. So he emphasizes the letters when he speaks. He is a very well educated guy in the way he speaks. So I said, what if you soften that and you shorten the phrases? I'm sure. And don't talk too much. Let the people see what's happening on your head. See, that was the approach with David. And he worked, and he was able to get into character and then do the stunts, and they just correct the actors were doing something wrong or another thing. We did all the rehearsals, and he directed all that. So he did all that stuff. So it was more intense. And other actors, well, just give them some directions. We have a lot of people coming out. One of the things that I want to say finally about this is we have a lot of actors in this industry. You have a lot of people who want to be an actor. They just want to take the picture. He wants to, so they don't have the passion. And sometimes we see that in some people who apply for the posting of the actors, and they were not committed enough, or they were afraid enough. So they didn't have they have to go. They have other things. I want to do it, but I'm gonna go to Mexico for 6 months. Or there was a guy who was very good with cards. I'm not gonna say names or anything, but he was great with cards, but he didn't I didn't feel he was confident on his skills as a performer. So he said this project is not going anywhere. So he decided to go, and that was fine. It didn't work for him. Probably he wanted another project. Or we have people auditioning oh, we're auditioning on this building. He says, I'm not gonna go, and I don't go to houses to audition. You're not auditioning in a house, like this is a building, right? So basically, people not even coming right away with this attitude of like, I'm the big shot. So this happens quite often in this industry, that people want to be, but they don't want to do the work, or they get high in their own supply, air supply. You have to be. This is a collaboration where you have to be able to be down to earth, so you get a good product in a good environment. So when we were producing this film, there's a lot of people who didn't believe, but we bring love and compassion and respect for everyone from the top to the bottom of my crew and my cast. And that was my policy, to create that environment when we are able to create.
Perfect. That's lovely to hear. And yeah, like people getting high on their own air supply is just about not being able to put ego aside. And I think that's the key in every single profession. That's not only in acting, also in teaching, like in my case. We have to be able to put ego aside. So Orlando, just about to finish, if you were asked to define Clash in one sentence, what will be your definition?
Clash is an action and drama film with cinematic pieces to it.
And the last question, Orlando, do you have any future projects in mind? Anything you can tell us? I know like most of these it's kind of secrets, but do you have anything you can tell us in advance?
Yeah, we are working on different concept projects. There's a comedy that we're working on. It's called Pay Your Bill. I can tell you that for sure. We're working with very high-end actors on this one, but we're just trying to produce it. So we'll see what happens. We're directing that. We're doing another project, and that I cannot discuss too much. Is basically the student who's in law school and something. So we're developing those and directing. I'm in charge of directing those projects in. And from my own, I'm doing a documentary right now. We're in the pre-production stage, so there's maybe, as you work in any project, you can just probably get, some people leave, so we're still working. We have some stories developed already, so we're just see who stays in the project and how make it work. This is in different parts of the world, so we're working on that too. I'm writing a satire, film satire, and I'm writing a feature film that I've been working for some time. So those are the things that I'm working on right now.
Lovely. So you are kind of busy, and I know we have no more time, Orlando, but I can't leave without this question. Every film has a cultural background. You are coming from Colombia, but you've been living in Canada for 2 decades now, nearly 2 decades. So if you were asked the origin of your film, if it's Colombian or Canadian, what would be your answer?
Obviously, has my influences of there's some Colombian flavor to it. I mean, you don't have the cumbia, you don't have the vallenato, you don't have the Spanish rock or whatever to it, but has my rhythm, how I see life. So it has this Colombian. I will say the rhythm is Colombian. It has this rhythm of up and down, and a lot of the influences that I have is just learning Canada. All the films that I watched, that I had the chance to watch in the last 5-6 years, I watched so many films that probably those influences are definitely in that.
So basically, it's a mix. So that's another reason of why we should all watch this film. So that's the invitation. Like, watch Clash, everybody. And Orlando, congratulations! Thanks for leaving our nationality on top, and wish you all the best in your future projects.
Thank you, Nat. Thank you for having me today, and thank you for the interview. I hope I answered all your questions.